The worst horror movie I ever saw was fucking great.
Hey everyone, it's your old pal James here. This week's episode is a tad bit different. We watched Sleepaway Camp 4, and if any of you listening are watching along with us, you will know that Sleepaway Camp 4 is a lot of recycled footage from the previous films. That's right, it's a 70-minute long film. 55 minutes or so is reused footage from the first three films. Not a whole lot to discuss, as you might imagine. We get into a few things, of course. Don't hit that skip button right now. But anyway, to balance out the episode and give you a regular 50, 60-minute long episode this week, we're going to give you half of our Patreon episode for this month. That's right. Over on Patreon this month, we're discussing two films in the summer camp slasher genre, They/Them, and The Final Girls. So we are going to tack on to the end of this week's main feed episode, the first half of the Patreon episode where we discuss They/Them. So if you're interested in hearing the rest of this Patreon or any of the other Patreons, you can sign up over there for $5 a month. We kind of see that as a little bit of a, hey, you're just kind of supporting the show anyway, and here's one extra bonus episode. And if you like Twin Peaks, you can sign up for $8 a month. But yeah, this is just half of this month's Patreon episode to round out a full regular hour runtime. All right, enjoy. Hello, and welcome to This May Hurt a Bit. My name is James Strayer, and this is
John C. Myers.
And we're a horror podcast discussing each film in horror franchises. And today we will be discussing Sleepaway Camp 4, The Survivor from 1992 or 2010 when it was finished. What did I just watch, John?
So I was thinking of, you can find these on YouTube now, like all over the place. People will just do them for free. But there was a period of time back in the olden days, you could get like a VHS tape that was like the NFL's hardest hits.
Oh,
and it would just be compilations of people tackling each other. And this is just a highlight reel of the previous movies. More so than Silent Deadly Night Part 2.
Yeah.
Even.
My version of that was Jerry Springer, Too Hot for TV.
Too Hot for TV, that would be the same thing. Yeah.
Yes,
or like, Cops.
Yeah, running the same crowd as the toughest hits is Jerry Springer's Too Hot for TV. Yeah, like I kind of knew going into this that this was a clip show. And boy, oh boy, this was even more of one than I kind of realized. I had problems even finding the correct one. I found an edition that was on Vimeo for $3 to rent. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to support the filmmaker. I don't even know if it was the filmmaker or something like that. For all I
support
know,
this guy.
Yeah, for all I know, somebody has my credit card information now, you know, and it was all for Sleepaway Camp 4 and you, the listeners. I watched a 70-minute movie and I got 39 minutes in and I texted John and I said, I've not taken a single note yet. And I don't even know if I'm watching the proper version of this. And so we had to kind of compare notes to see if we were watching the correct version. And I guess there is only this one version, but I was very confused, especially after having read the Wikipedia article, because it makes it sound like all the stuff in the Wikipedia article actually happened in the movie.
Right.
Like
yes.
was filmed.
Right.
That's what threw me for the first of many loops.
Yeah, very much no. In fact, like there's only about 30 minutes of footage from that shoot that exists because when they were shooting Sleepaway Camp 4, Double Helix Pictures went out of business. Mm-hmm. Just in the middle of it. And there's no like, well, let's finish this first. No, we're done. Pencils down, everybody.
Yeah.
You can still find all the unedited footage on, like I found some on YouTube. I'm sure it's other places around, where it's raw, like it's clapboards, it's flubs, it's everything. It's what you see when you're editing a movie, all the raw footage. And there's only about like 15 minutes, I believe, that shows up in the final version of that.
At the very end, which also had me so confused.
This was directed by Jim Markovic under the watchful eye of producer John Kleiza, who was ran the Sleepaway Camp website. They had this footage like, well, let's see if we can finish this up and make a movie out of it. Markovic previously was an editor, or is also an editor, he worked on tons of stuff in the Grindhouse days.
Yeah.
He worked on some of the Bruce exploitation movies like Bruce Lee Fights Back from the Grave. And then he would work with places like Aquarius Releasing, which would cut down films to be shown on crappy Grindhouse screens in 42nd Street, just to like, let's just get butts and seats, keep stuff moving. And so like he helped turn Zombie Holocaust into Dr. Butcher MD.
Oh, that's what happened to Zombie Holocaust.
That's what happened to Zombie Holocaust. But it's like, so this is a guy who knows how to like just cut to the bone of stuff.
Yeah.
And so they did that. And then they had someone else come in and add a few things. This gentleman, Dustin Ferguson, who is a very prolific filmmaker, making such movies as Liza Warden from Hell, The Clown Chainsaw Massacre, The Worst Faces of Dying, Big Freaking Snake. Nice. He did one of the Witchcraft movies, which is a giant franchise.
Yeah.
That I suppose we have to get to at some point.
Yep.
But there's part of it kind of, I'm like, I would like this guy's job. Just cranking out this garbage. There you go. I'm sure it's fine. I don't want to crap out on stuff, but just like, totally. Hey man, you got to make horror movies all the time. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was involved too. Yeah. No Robert Hiltzik, not involved. Nope. Michael A. Simpson, not involved.
Yeah.
They just doing their own thing with this. And the original treatment is supposed to be this survivor goes to camp.
Yep.
What you see in the finished version is just a crawl from her doctor, her psychologist. Is like, so this Allison person is cuckoo bananas. And she thinks she's a part of some murders that may or may not have happened. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just like let her loose at the camp where she thinks this happened. And she's going to hang around in a bikini and think about things.
Send her back alone, unattended, while having like mental, problems about this situation.
Yeah.
Just go.
Just go. It's going to be fine.
Pack a bikini, you'll be fine.
I know a ranger there, Jack. He can probably help you out as well. I'm busy doing other doctor things, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly just her sitting in a bikini, like on a dock and going like, oh, here we are. Look at this.
I remember a day like today when Angela stalked these grounds looking for her revenge. A tent on top of that hill was the scene of a gruesome attack.
As is one of my favorite tropes of this kind of thing, she enjoys other people's flashbacks.
Oh my God, does she?
Because she enjoys everyone's flashbacks from all three movies.
Yeah.
All the best kills, all the best moments. She was there for it all, I suppose.
Which makes you think it's less like, oh, is Allison possibly Angela just not remembering? Yeah. And more of, is Allison like a wood nymph? That just like I was the spirit of the forest and I saw it all and it was so horrifying. I forgot.
Yeah. I'm a wood nymph remembering everything. And the best way to go back through that is lounging in a bikini on a dock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you occasionally get her little like voiceover.
Yeah.
As it fades into previous footage. And so I guess that's, quote unquote new footage. That's like it's not even a wraparound. It's just like they're kind of like interjections.
Basically, yeah, because there's one in particular, like a super short one.
I remember that day.
Like it's a very weird narration.
Yeah.
One quick aside before I leave about Dustin Ferguson. Dustin Ferguson also made a couple of Sleepaway Camp shorts.
Oh.
What Sleepaway Camp 2, What Happened to Molly, and Sleepaway Camp 2, Steve and Michelle Go to Hell.
Dang, I wonder if we can track those down for the wrap-up episode.
Yeah, that might be fun.
Mm-hmm.
They try to do the wraparound story like Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, but it is really just her really having everyone's flashbacks, because these are scenes that Angela wasn't a part of.
Yep.
Or that like she couldn't have been having this flashback while also this flashback was going on. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't in the same place there. So it's not like, oh, she was that character in the background. Plus everyone in those movies is dead.
Yeah.
You know, there's that little element to it. But it is interesting to see some of this stuff repackaged. Like the way it starts with the end of part 3.
Yep.
But it's really truncated down, so you don't get any of the goofy humor or whatever. You don't see Tony get friend zoned. You don't see the guy get friend zoned. And then Angela just comes to life in the back of the ambulance and starts stabbing people. There's no, we should kill her. So it's interesting a little bit how the juxtaposition of how they put some of this stuff together tells the story versus what the movies actually were. Yeah. But that's about as far as you can go with it, I think.
One of my favorite bits is that they included the section that we see in part 3, but she flashes back to in part 2.
That's why places like this are so great. We can go to camp and learn to love each other. Thanks for being such great kids. You've made this camp a lot of fun. I love you all. You like me. You really like me.
So now that bit has been used in every movie subsequently, except for the one that it was filmed for.
Right.
It's just a fun idea.
Yeah.
The you really like me type of scene that she has.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I did find a section, on, I watched it on YouTube or maybe it was on Vimeo, of 38 minutes worth of like truly raw footage, like seeing the clapboards, like you see people kind of like reset and everything. And when I was looking for like, some more information about this as a whole, and I watched one guy on YouTube, I can't remember his name, and he said, gosh, I thought everybody just made movies on green screens and blue screens these days. Like, you actually see people in the woods, like kind of grabbing each other. And, it's kind of like how I thought I made my content on YouTube. And I was like, oh God, like I felt so old. Just, is this what people think? Like, do you not know what filmmaking is?
Yeah, that speaks more to sort of the content generation stuff, where it's like, I don't really know anything.
Yeah.
Or just like join me on my journey to figure out what films are, I guess. I don't know what this person's whole thing is, but that is
totally.
It's absolutely wild to be like, no, there's always just been green screen and whatever.
Yeah.
But I suppose it makes me feel better about what we do, where it's like, I know actually something. I know that movies are made with people in places. So that's,
with
that's a
more
step
than one
up.
person on a crew. But yeah, it's like, that was kind of fun if you want to go back and watch the raw footage and just see take after take of them kind of like falling on each other.
Yeah.
But again, that is the extent of the footage. So if they shot 38 minutes worth of footage, you see 13 minutes of finished takes. And I would say 12 minutes of that is at the very, very end.
Yeah. And they're just squeezing all they can from that footage. And that happens a lot anyway, where you're like, oh, we just got to make this work. We need, maybe I can use this shot from this day, this unused take or whatever, but they're really trying to use every part of what they filmed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The original thing was going to be more that Allison has these flashbacks and plays more into the, is she Angela or not? And then the movie ends with this, where she and Jack, the ranger, she goes to have lunch with Jack, and Jack puts the moves on her and then really starts to attack her. And so she fights and runs away, and then he's chasing her. And she runs into a hunter, but in this case, it's played by a different guy in the original script, or the original treatment for it, because he hates Jack too, because Jack doesn't like him hunting on on this land. So they're going to get Jack, but then she finds out Jack has been murdered and is worried that maybe it was her that did it in the middle of the night. She finds these two other campers and starts telling them her story. Then it reveals that one of those campers is Angela and has been Angela the whole time. And so that's real stupid.
All shot on, I mean, I don't know what it was shot on, but it looks like VHS.
It does look like video, yeah.
Like a very early 1990s videotape.
Yeah. Or what you're just seeing is like what the video village had. Because a lot of times when you were shooting, and they still do this to watch dailies and stuff on set, watch playback. But with film, you couldn't get playback because film had to be developed. You couldn't see stuff immediately. Couldn't be you couldn't take a picture on your phone and then show it to somebody. Yeah. So a lot of times they would have a very sort of rough video recording alongside of the film, so you could watch playback and see like, oh, did we get that shot? Okay, let's see your performance. How is that? Because I used to do that a little bit for some commercials. Boring work. So it might be that. It might just be that's what's available is footage from the video. I don't know.
I bet,
fully.
Now that you say that, I bet that's what it is. Because if Double Helix was going under, why would they spend thousands of dollars to develop any film stock that they had lying around for the movie?
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, we're going to take this Video Village footage. That makes perfect sense. So that means that the holy grail of the Sleepaway Camp franchise is the undeveloped, 16 millimeter footage of Sleepaway Camp 4 floating out.
If that is indeed correct, like I have not got confirmation on that one way or the other, but it does, just because it does look more video like.
Right.
I was unsure, but haven't gotten confirmation one way or the other. It's just that was the footage that they had,
and they put some like kind of strange early video type effects over some of the shots as well, like a weird like color grading or a weird color. What do you call that? Like it's just like
where the whole screen is tinted,
or green tint over everything. Not sure why. I guess that looks cool, or
just to snazz it up, to anything to save this turkey, just to polish this turd.
Yeah,
it is arguably the purest form of a franchise movie in that it is just the best of. And it's like, you want to see this? Here it is. This is what you want. Do you want to see Angela kill people? Here. Yeah, you've seen it, but it's what you wanted to see, right?
See it again. Right?
Yeah. I bet it's like completely just devoid of really any story. I mean, it makes you appreciate Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 a bit more.
Yeah, at least that had a little bit more of a through line before they cut to everything, because there was like probably a day's worth of footage of talking to what's his name in the asylum.
Right. And then they went and they kind of told his story to some degree. They were planning to. I don't think initially they set out to just make part 4 a clip show, but it's you go to war with the army that you have.
I meant to bring that up earlier. So like this was not intended to turn out like this. This was, they intended to film a whole new feature, but then it was just like, well, I guess if we're going to put this out for anything, we have to mine the clip show. And then the clip show became 85% of the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, look, I'll always try to err on the side of the positive of people trying to save a movie like this, or just trying to get together and like see what we can do with this and see if we can put it out. I kind of find this pointless. Like it's hard for me to find a positive thing to say about this being like an actual movie. Mm-hmm. It's barely a part 4.
In Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Ricky's retelling of the story is so much more linear.
Yeah.
And this is all over the place. Yeah. This is Allison having flashbacks about Angela having flashbacks about other killings that she's done. So like you see her killing the 2 teens in part 2 that are dressed up like Jason and Freddy.
Yep.
And then it cuts to part 3 with her pulling it out of the water. But we've already seen her kill other people in part 3. Because I think it's in part 2 where she talks about remembering the boy that was mean to her and she drowned him. Then you see that footage from part 1. So there's a little bit more of like a memory play, non-linear sort of storytelling going on than just a straight cut. So I'll give them the credit that like some thought went into this. Some thought and artistry went into like trying to do this a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it was all that effective.
Yeah, they even kind of, I won't say build up to, but they get to the final shot of part 1 midway through this movie.
Yeah.
So they don't come out the gate with that one as if we were going linear, like you were saying.
Well, actually, that was the thing at the very beginning. You talk about, or really close to the beginning, where you talk about her having other people's flashbacks, where she has Angela's flashback to Angela being told she's going to become Angela.
Yes.
There's no position she would ever be in where she knew any of that. Right. Unless she had she's like, what I imagine it to be like is exactly what happened by some random coincidence.
The aunt as well.
That discussion about now, I can't have another daughter, that sort of thing.
No. Yeah. I'm running out of steam on this one, guys. It's just this put Sleepaway Camp Part 4 on at your bar around Halloween. Because then you'll get like a mixtape of great kill scenes.
That's really what it is. Yeah.
I mean, look, I will never not say don't watch a movie for the sake of completionism, because, that's what we do here. Mm-hmm. But so if you're like really on the completionism train with us, track it down and watch it. But I cannot say that it will be terribly rewarding or thought provoking, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a rough one.
It's real strange because like some of the stuff you're also wondering just in terms of how movies are made, why they shot certain things there. I'm really curious about that shot that ends the movie with the ranger, like bloody ranger head, and there's like a skull head next to it.
With that's just skull.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Yep.
Because the movie just kind of ends. It doesn't really, I think, does it make it sound like she's Angela at the end?
I think it tries to imply that, but I honestly don't know if I caught that from the movie or if I read that in the Wikipedia.
Yeah, because I think it's supposed to imply that it's Angela at the end, but it also just doesn't really make much sense. As much as any of this ever really did, and
that wouldn't even at this point, that wouldn't even come as some sort of like clever twist or anything. Like, I don't think I could possibly care to lean forward on my couch and go, oh, that's Angela.
Well, they did also, like, speaking of twists, they did change it so it seemed like that the crazy aunt's husband was having an affair with Angela's dad. Because when she's like,
you're
you
right.
know,
Okay,
that was supposed to be in the original one, because I think she gets mentioned when they're on the boat and he's like, we gotta go. But I never really put that together that was like a relationship. So they inserted that or fleshed that out a little bit, which was interesting, and also kind of adds an element of like, I'm going to punish you for what my husband did to me.
For what happened to me. Yeah.
Or could, if it was explored at all, but no,
Right.
it's just a clip show of murders.
Yeah.
Also, like, in terms of how it was put together, I was a little concerned when they do this very strange bridge when you mentioned they're doing the "you like me, you really like me" as everyone's clapping, and it goes into Angela being attacked by the awful cook in the first one.
Right.
I was like, that's some interesting counterpoint to what's going on, that you're seeing the cook be like, hey there, buddy. But then it leads into the horrible experience.
Yeah.
But that's, again, that sort of non-linear putting it together that shows that, yeah, her experience at camp was still terrible.
And in that speech, she does say something about, you know, I've been abused and maligned and stuff like that. So then going right into the cook scene, I guess that thematically lines up. So
yeah, it's a remix of stuff that does add stuff here and there, but not in a way that's particularly interesting or deepens the material. Or really fleshes it out. It's just like, we have this footage. Let's use it. Let's see what we can squeeze out of it. And that's kind of it.
Throw it in a box set. Yeah. Like, some of this, I think it originally came out in a box set that was exclusive to Best Buy. You know, so you could get that 38 minutes of raw footage and then a Sleepaway Camp 4 version of this as well, in that, like, a white box set. I can't remember who put it out, but that was the big reveal, because, like, Fangoria announced, like, finally Sleepaway Camp 4 is finished in 2010, and this is what it was. Yeah,
it was initially there was a teaser on the Camp Survival Kit DVD box set in 2002, but yeah, I mean, and the people that worked on it, I guess, were very supportive. Like, the crew of, like, yeah, let's just use the footage and get it done. And I think Michael Simpson, that directed 2 and 3, was even like, yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I think it does speak to, while you can look at it as a kind of cynical cash-in thing, I do think that the people behind it like the series and wanted, like,
yes,
this is what's lying around. What can we do with this? That's kind of cool. Like, it's just, if you are a fan and want a best of, it's this.
That kind of sincerity will always score a couple of points with me.
Yeah.
You know, like, it wasn't just we have this weird legal obligation. We have to make back a cool $50K and we need to put out a product. You're right. Yeah. Like, I'm sure that they were all big fans of this.
Yeah. And I mean, there's certainly a profit motive there, but, a lot of it, you know, Clyza trying to track down where this stuff was and how to do it. It wasn't just, I have this, how can I make money off of it?
Yeah.
It's too bad that they couldn't try to, like, flesh it out a little bit more. Like, you know, I don't know in terms of the voiceover stuff, if that was just the actress, like, additional stuff that she did, because it's not like there was on set sound for, you know, her, you know, she wasn't sitting there on the dock while someone off camera was going, boy, I remember these murders.
Right. Please explain to me what I'm remembering right now.
Yeah.
Just so that'll help. Were there even any new kills in this movie? There's that weird inexplicable corpse at the end.
Yeah, that's the thing that she holds the hunter hostage.
Yeah.
At one point, and then then it's just, it flashes back. Then she's standing there with a knife in her bikini again, and then the ranger's coming up behind her, and then it kind of ends.
Right.
So it makes it sound like instead of being like it's Angela and she discovers she's Angela, and oh my gosh, it's Angela discovers that Allison discovers that she's Angela, but then is killed by a different killer.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
So, I mean, is this the first movie in our show that has 0 kills?
Zero. Well, I mean, it has implied kills, really.
Yeah.
Because that final shot really implies that, because it's unclear who
it even is.
Yeah, who it would be otherwise. And there's a lot of kills that have already happened.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to count those.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth counting. So I think this is kind of a asterisk on the whole thing anyway.
Right.
So
yeah, 0 kills. Screw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
It doesn't really count. Well, because we don't know. There's no confirmation. We don't know who that body is. We don't know who that is holding the body. It's
what's funny too?
To you, the viewer, to decide, I guess.
It's like, oh yay, we're gonna make Sleepaway Camp 4. I'm excited to get out there, and the best part of these movies is probably doing the elaborate kill scenes.
Oh sure, yeah.
And so they get shut down before they can even do that. That stinks.
Yeah. So they're just left with what they got, which was not much.
Well, I would say let's honor our dead, but we've just decided we won't be doing that. So, gosh, any last thoughts on Sleepaway Camp Part 4?
It happened.
It happened.
Sorry,
everyone. This is a short episode, but boy, why don't you watch Sleepaway Camp 4?
Yeah, go ahead and watch Sleepaway Camp 4. Find it, and then
I like being very confrontational with things that haven't even happened yet.
Sure.
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, we are constantly being punished by our audience.
Yes,
they're cruel things they say to us all the time.
Right.
So they want us dead. So why don't you watch it?
Right. Let us know if you liked Sleepaway Camp 4.
Yeah.
I guess next week is Sleepaway Camp 5, Return to Sleepaway Camp. So at least that'll be a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to watch a movie.
Right.
Again.
And Hiltzik is back in the saddle, and there's other returning faces as well. So
yeah,
this is I guess a aperitif for that. And that wraps up our discussion about Sleepaway Camp 4. Up next, talking about they/them from the Patreon. Apologies real quick. The mic quality, my mic quality changes a little bit, but I've changed a little bit since last week. I mean, can anyone really say that they're the same person they were last week? No. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks.
So sticking with our summer camp slasher theme over on the main feed, we thought we'd go more modern this month instead of early 80s, which I think is where both of our hearts lie. Why not get out of our comfort zone a little bit and watch something that the kids would like.
There's no shortage of modern ones, as we've discussed in the Sleepaway Camp sequels. It's pretty cheap to just go out in the woods and film somebody.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot of sets and stuff like that. So
I've done it. I bet you've done it.
Yeah, you can see a ton of stuff on Tubi in particular. Like, these are 2 bigger releases that we decided we'd check out.
Yeah, and I think by this time, we're 40 years into the slasher genre, arguably 45 years.
Mm-hmm.
God, going on 50 even. At this point, especially with summer camp slashers, like the modern thing is to find your own take and kind of put a spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not all of them. I bet half the ones that you see on Tubi are just old slasher style.
I just want to make a slasher movie. Yeah.
But a couple of these, the ones that tend to get a little bit more traction are, we have a zany idea that we're going to run with.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't call Gay Conversion Camp zany idea. I mean, it has a very specific jumping off point instead of simply a Jason stalking teens in the woods.
Right. Yes. It's a bit different.
So stumbling into they, them, or I guess it's called they/them, which is better, Hey, let's go for the full pun here.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm in a lot of ways, I'm surprised that nobody got to this idea earlier. And maybe it was floating around for a long time.
Oh, Jason Blum from Blumhouse saw a documentary about conversion therapy called Pray Away and was like, oh, this is a very fertile ground for a horror movie.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. And not to show my hand too much, but if you were to tell me that this was a first-time director, if you were to tell me this was a first-time screenwriter, I can fully believe that.
Agreed.
And it is technically a first-time director.
Okay.
John Logan, who also wrote the script, but he wrote a lot of stuff. Like, he wrote Hugo, he wrote Skyfall, he wrote The Aviator, he wrote Gladiator, he wrote The Last Samurai. The same guy that wrote this?
Yeah.
Because this movie it's very difficult to talk about because it sounds bad when you say they, them is confused. But this is a very confused movie.
Yeah. I mean, the man
I'm
also
just shocked that I mean, it also wonder if there's a lot of, studio input or a lot of input from other things, because this is all over the map.
Yeah. I mean, the man also wrote Star Trek Nemesis, the last of the TNG movies.
Yeah,
too.
I said he wrote good movies. All right, we don't need to keep covering it.
Right.
Oh, he also did Alien Covenant. So,
oh yeah,
thank God for that.
Yes, thank you. So the man has worked with Scorsese, Ridley Scott, Patrick Stewart. I couldn't think of another director, but yes. Yeah, so he's been around for a while, and he is a queer writer-director, so luckily he's coming at it from that angle. I wonder sometimes if you're a queer filmmaker and you get an opportunity like this, you feel like you have to please everyone or please all aspects of different ideas and stuff like that. And sometimes I wonder if it has to say too much. And then when it's trying to say too much, then it says very little, or it gets muddled along the way.
Right. Well, when the subtext becomes text, I think that's always an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But part of my core issue with this movie is it's trying to also do this Get Out thing,
yes,
where there's this sort of twist. All right, here's the thing: it's a gay conversion camp, but it's actually kind of liberal, but it isn't. Okay, so there's no twist then.
Yes.
You just said, look, what if the bad thing was bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's going, conversion camps? That gets bad?
Totally.
And the fact that it completely rules out religious stuff.
Yeah, it does.
It's just at the very beginning, Kevin Bacon is like...
And let me tell you another thing. God doesn't hate you either. And any son of a bitch that tells you otherwise is a bigoted asshole, and that is officially the last time that you're going to hear about the man upstairs.
Really? Because that seems kind of like a central thing to all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there are issues outside of, for some people outside of the religious aspect, but that seems to be a main driving force when you hear talking about gay conversion, on that is a religious aspect, and to just eschew that was a very strange choice, and I think not great. I think it kind of hurt the movie a bit.
Totally. It's almost like the movie didn't end up having a point of view at all,
right?
Because it was just trying to flatten itself out. I kind of liked Kevin Bacon's performance in that opening monologue where he tries to get rid of the Jesus stuff, because for a second there you do think, in that Get Out sort of way, oh, this is pretty reasonable. He's just trying to help these kids out. Yeah. And, our lead character, they say at one point something to the effect of what's really freaking me out is the lack of Bible thumpers around here.
Right.
They could have done something with that, but it didn't really.
The performances are all really good. I think the performers here really nail it, particularly the young people. Although I would also say this movie seems very confused at the ages of these people.
Oh, I had no idea.
How old they're supposed to be, because they're all enthralled to their parents, but then other things happen where it's these are minors. Why is this? It's we'll get into it, but the lead Theo Germain is Jordan. I think is great. But yeah, it's just that initial thing. So you, the audience, are like, oh, okay, well that's a little bit different. But then immediately they undercut it by, no, it's these people are awful and terrible, and it's well, okay, then why did you? I don't know. It just felt like a twist that wasn't necessary at all.
Right.
That it would be a little bit more interesting to go down this route of these are just the horrors of this camp. Because then when you kind of flatten it, because then what sort of ends up happening is that you have this slasher element that is really to the side. And a lot of it is just the trauma of these conversion camps.
Yeah.
When there's the whole section where the wife, the main female counselor, is just breaking Jordan down.
Yeah.
About how you're nothing, you're they, them, which is a made up thing or whatever. Then there's not really a payoff there. It's so you just, instead of making that into subtext, you just yelled homosexual epithets at the audience and went, yeah, isn't that bad?
Exactly.
It's that just felt kind of gross that I'm sitting there being a part of it, because you didn't need to convince me that conversion camps are bad. Is that, who is this for?
Yeah.
Is I guess what I'm trying to get at. Because who's what I would like to see? I'd like to see a movie called They, Them about queer youth. But I'm also into conversion camps.
Yeah,
that's strange.
Yeah. The other thing is just, this is very much billed as a slasher. I liked all the parts that weren't about the slasher. Or I mean, or maybe not liked all the parts, but like I found myself a little bit more engaged in some of the characters than I did. Like sometimes I would forget, oh yeah, this is a slasher movie.
Yeah,
like
because the movie would forget that it was a slasher movie. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, then this is happening, I guess. And there was not really a lot of mystery around that as well, which is fine. You don't always have to have that.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah, look at Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3.
Yeah, exactly. But it still was just like, I don't care about because particularly like it was only killing the bad people. And so like, oh, okay. The teens felt more in danger from the camp than from the killer. So it's more just like, oh, which one of the teens is it?
Right.
Oh, it's okay.
Well, and also by the end, you know, after we've watched Kevin Bacon and his muscle just like torture a guy for a while, then you've got like 2 camps of villains, 2 buckets of villains. And so I don't know, are they all bad? Are we supposed to be rooting for the slasher?
Yeah.
Like not in the same way that we typically root for Jason and Michael Myers, but you know, do we want to see this slasher carve up all the terrible camp counselors? Maybe.
It's very confused. Like if it went one way or the other, it'd be a little bit more interesting, but it tries to do a lot. And then a lot of it is focused on these kids figuring out who they really are. And because a lot of them were sent to this camp, as I mentioned, by their parents, some of which are like, I kind of feel ashamed of who I am. You know, I've been made to feel ashamed. And other ones are like, I'm just doing this so I can get theater seats. Oh, yeah. You know, like there's a wide variety of why they're there. And so when they're spending a lot of time, like I'm figuring out who I am, some of that is interesting, but then it's like, then why is this other movie happening? Sure. You know, it seems apart from the rest of it. Like I think Monique Kim as Veronica was good. And like her little relationship, her fledgling relationship with, I believe that was Kim, Anna Lore from the most recent Final Destination. Oh, right. And then there's the whole thing. They sing a song about like just being yourself. I'm like, wait, oh, right. This is a horror movie. I kind of forgot. It's just totally all over the map. Yeah. Yeah. That's the big thing is like that scene happens like not long after the one guy is just kind of tortured in his chair, I think. Yeah. And then we cut to like they. Yeah. Yeah. And then we cut to a dance number. And the dance number is like, look, I'm not really the audience for it, but I thought to myself, like, this is charming. This is a nice little respite, you know, but it felt weird coming after a torture sequence. It wants to carry this message throughout it. This message of acceptance and whatever. And that's great. But it was very ham-handed in how it was doing it. And it didn't like integrate with the story well. It just felt like it was telling a bunch of different stories. And there's a slasher. Right. And like a lot of it wasn't very scary. It was like, what if homophobia existed? Yeah. And it does. Sure. And, you know, because I think that's also an interesting thing that gets brought up at the beginning is that, as we mentioned, this is supposed to be a conversion camp. The main character, Jordan, is non-binary. Goes by they, them. And so they're like, well, that's bullshit. Yeah, we're because the camp is all about just enforcing the gender roles, and so this is insane that you would be they them, and then there ends up being a trans character, and those are very interesting things to explore, themes to explore, and they're not as interested in that. Not sort of like, well, here's the acceptance of gay and lesbian, but let's just stop there. Yeah, sure. That's as much acceptance as I can possibly do. Yeah, I think Kevin Bacon says something early on to the effect of like, we're not going to force you into any lifestyle that you don't. We're not going to make you more straight or less gay. And I'm like, well, I hope that line was written that way on purpose because I don't know which way else you go. Right, because I think because it's supposed to be like we're just helping you be you, you know, and then of course they're not. They're deciding that you have to be. That if you are a woman, you have to be good at baking pies. And if you are a man, you have to shoot sick dogs to prove you're a man. So that aspect of it is, as I mentioned, kind of confused. And Kevin Bacon, though, is fantastic. Yes. Unsurprisingly. And I think, he was brought on as having a tie to the first Friday the 13th and horror in general. He's been in a few different horror movies. Yeah. And he never, I don't know. I can't think of a bad Kevin Bacon performance. I'm sure there are some, but like generally he's a stand-up guy. Yeah. And I like Anna Schlemsky a lot. I was happy to see her as Molly. But yeah, just kind of like it goes on forever. Kind of spins its wheels for a bit because it is how long is it? It's like an hour and 45. Yeah, it's like an hour 45. It didn't need to be that. Yeah. Part of the thing bringing up like how old or young these kids are. So at one point, there is one young man, he's like a jock,
Yeah.
Stu. He is straight up like, I don't want to be gay.
Right.
I just want to be like, he's there to be converted. He and this other young gay man, Gabriel, they end up having sex.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out that was a honeypot scheme to test if you were really gay or not.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realized, like, well, so are they just sex trafficking children? Because that seems like a bigger deal than what you're making it out to be. Because that's real weird.
And standing in the cabin, just watching it all go along too.
But it wasn't like presented in this way of like that's the reality of what was happening. It was more like, oh, see how you were being played, see the psychological drama. And it's more just like, you sex traffic a child to entrap another child. That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
That's really horrifying.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, and in that scene, in both of the sequences where you're supposed to be made to be a man or made to be a woman, Kevin Bacon's assistants are very clearly queer men and women who he's converted. So you've got your like kind of his muscle presenting as straight, but he's gay. And I believe the same with the Baker woman, because she starts hitting on one of the other young queer girls. Yeah,
and then you see a sex scene later where they like, and I thought this was kind of clever, where they're laying next to each other in bed and they're just like looking at photos on their phone, and they're like, he has Hot Wibbit on his phone.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, this one, and she'll be like, no, this one, yes.
Yeah.
And they'll both just each look at while they have sex with each other, but in order to, because they're like, we're making it work.
Yeah.
We're still gay, but with permission, I guess.
Totally. Yeah, that was clever. And of course, that's when the slasher shows up and axes them kind of just out of frame. So we don't get to see that. And because, I mean, like I said, that seems separate from everything else. Because going back to the honeypot, they take Stu and they hook him up to basically just a giant car battery. And they try to do this aversion therapy where they show him hot ladies and hot dudes. And if they, whenever they see the hot dudes, they'll shock him. It's a really barbaric, horrible thing. And I mean, yeah, it seems like that's going to really psychologically damage a person. At best, you're going to end up with a Clive Barker. But, that's like 1 in a million. Yeah. And so like they're doing all this barbaric, horrible stuff to people. And even before it gets to that level, though, Jordan uncovers the history of this camp. Oh, right. And all these like abused kids. And like, it's so shocking. Yeah, it's a conversion camp. Yeah. Like, again, it's this weird thing. It's like, what? This is bad? The Ku Klux Klan was up to some nonsense? Yeah. What? Right. They're racist? It just is this weird like discovery of a thing that everyone already knows. Right. I was uncomfortable when I first got here, and now I'm still uncomfortable. Yeah. And scared. And because particularly the fact that what they find is from the 20s, and like there are all these black and white photos. It didn't really track at all, because already you're seeing that Kevin Bacon is like, no, we're not that anymore. And then it turns out, unsurprisingly, that they are. But it was just, it hung this fear on it that was already there. It's like the movie said, don't worry about it. And then, no, it turns out it was bad. Like, I know, I came into this thinking they were bad. And also, I think, look, this is a generalization like crazy, but I think most people that are going to hit play on this movie know gay conversion camps are bad. I don't think you're going to get any converts out of this. It's what I'm saying. I don't know. Gives them the benefit of the doubt in this way that I don't think serves anything, because it's like, turns out they were what we thought they were. I did look up a few queer reviewers of this movie, and it is kind of like, I don't want to say universally, but like the reviews that I read were luckily kind of agreeing with me and us. Like, I say luckily in that, like, oh God, I hope I'm not wrong here. But, I hope I have the approved opinion. I felt kind of that way. I was just like, I didn't really like this so much, and I hope I'm not missing something. And then like a lot of queer horror writers were just like, this is kind of a muddled mess, and it started off as a good idea, and I wish it would have gone further. And I mean, like, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just a humble alpha male, I'm doing push-ups and throwing touchdown passes while we're recording. Yeah. So whatever, take it with a grain of salt. But I just thought it was kind of a mess. And like, one thing I thought was interesting, and this kind of goes on to this idea of trying to make it more of a message than just have it happen. Yeah. And then again, that could be something that the studio was like, we need to make this more explicit. Sure. But the character of the trans woman, Alexandra, towards the end of the movie, so they're all like, oh God, we need to run away.
There's horrible killers out, but like this place sucks anyway.
Yeah.
We're gonna get on a bus and get out of here. We're gonna find out if other people can. But we have to deal with this killer. And they're like, Alexandra, take these other campers that aren't the main squad.
You really gonna walk? Hell yes. Can you take them with you? It's gonna be safer if you're together. We need to get them out of here. I'm gonna stay here with Toby and Stu.
Alexandra, are you up for this? They're scared and it's a long way to town.
Honey, please. I'm a black transgender woman. I could do it in heels.
And it's like, if you just said I could do that shit in heels, anyway, that just seems like much more powerful, like a character statement rather than just this like,
Yeah.
Do you get it, everybody? Do you get what's happening here?
Sure.
I laughed either way, but it just kind of, because the reason I bring it up is because all that does is that removes her from the movie.
Yeah.
She's just done. And so it's like, but look at how powerful she is as I completely remove her from the movie.
And take away what she could have like done to the killer or, you know, had something to do. Right.
But she was brave in her own way by leaving the story.
Totally.
And it's just that kind of like dressing up, just writing off a character in this like, you know, pseudo profound way was a little bit like,
yeah.
All right. That's the limits of representation, I guess.
Sure.
And then so eventually we learned, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
That the killer is Molly, the played by Anna Slemsky, the school nurse,
right?
Who apparently was a former student of the camp or a former resident of the camp. And when she reveals herself to Kevin Bacon, because it happens during a fight with Kevin Bacon, she goes,
"You don't remember me, do you?"
Clearly, no.
Yeah.
He hired you to be the nurse at the camp. Like, no.
Right.
What?
Totally. Yeah. Like, why would he? Well, I mean, he did hire like quote unquote converted people to be his assistants.
Right.
But you know.
But she makes it sound like, some really bad things happened. You don't remember that?
Totally.
You don't remember me? It just was, that was real stupid.
Right.
Basically what it boils down to is that they have the opportunity, Jordan, like shoot Kevin Bacon. And Anna Slemsky's like, is much more of the radical, like kill all these people.
Sure.
And then Jordan's takes the much more liberal approach. Is like, no, I'm strong enough to do nothing. Which, like, I understand that. You're basically like it's the retribution versus forgiveness. That's an interesting dynamic, but I just felt like there was a certain amount of you know, I'm strong enough to like not follow orders and to be my own person. And that's fine. But it's also interesting that, like, you know, talk about having to represent everyone, that it's this like, hey, radical group that is fighting and killing on my behalf. I'm not going to help you out, but I'm also going to walk away.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just going to look the other way.
Sure.
But then they don't, and the cops get called, and Anna Slemke gets taken away. And this drove me nuts because the cops show up. There have been at least 5 murders.
Yeah.
They haul Anna Slemke away, and then they all just leave the kids there. Again, they're supposed to be like minors. And the kids are all just like hanging around looking tough outside the main lodge as the cops pull away. And they're like, you going to call your folks? You know, what? You just left them there?
Yeah.
What is happening? These are children.
I need to help.
Yeah. Like, shouldn't you be calling their parents? The cops are just like, we cannot be bothered.
Yeah.
We only have one person on staff, and they just arrested Anna Slemsky. You want an ambulance? That's the same person.
Yeah.
They can't do the same job.
We can't get involved in this. Gosh. Yeah.
It's just these weird little shortcuts that just didn't work for me.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, again, to me, the highlight of the movie was all the performances. I thought all of the kids were fun to watch, and like I was kind of bought into them. But other than that, pretty messy. No kills. Yeah. Barely any kills.
Right.
There's that kill like right up top that is not connected to anything whatsoever. It's like one of those prelude type of things, you know?
Yes. Yeah. That was the thing also, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in the next movie as well. Although this suffers from it a little bit more. After that person dies at the beginning, there's like a drone shot of like the woods.
Yeah.
And it pans up from where the murder's happening to the cabins over a bunch of darkness. And it is dark as hell.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, what am I even looking at? Why did you do this if I can't see anything that's on the screen? It's just that cinematic sludge look that's so popular.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. But yeah, there's some good scenes, like I mentioned, that is, although it doesn't fit the rest of the movie, the scene with Jordan kind of being torn down, that psychological war.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Where it's just them just staring down the barrel of the can. Both Jordan and the cam counselor just staring down the barrel of the lens.
Yeah.
Like, not and she just doesn't blink the whole time, which is terrifying.
Right. Yeah.
But just that scene was good in a vacuum, but for the rest of the movie, it didn't really fit.
And you know, it's too bad that a film with these type of actors and this, queer message and stuff like that just ends up falling flat because, I would love to see a more brutal, visceral version of this story. Something that like really pushes not only the kills, but just like, I don't know, any point of view would be nice.
Right.
With these performers.
Yeah. Or even if you kind of like combined a horror with, but I'm a cheerleader or whatever, that campy comedy that, that would be fun. I don't know. Like you said, I just don't think this movie had a particular point of view other than the representation is good, which, yeah, it is. But it's the way they went about telling that story wasn't that effective.
All right, everyone. So if you liked Sleepaway Camp 4, if this was your favorite one, please do let me know.
I would totally get an argument for this being your favorite. Because it's all of them, and it's without all the stuff that I've complained about in the other movies. So it's like, it's fine. It's just this.
Right. So, you can get a hold of us at thismayhurtabitpod@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at thismayhurtabit and YouTube at thismayhurtabit. So until Sleepaway Camp 5, good night.
Good night.
This has been a Caretaker Press production. It was produced by James Strayer and edited by John C. Myers. Logo by Ethan Kimberling and music by Michael Arthur Holloway, who you can find on Bandcamp. Follow us on Instagram at thismayhurtabitpod and email us at thismayhurtabitpod@gmail.com. Give us a 5-star review over on your favorite podcast app, and we'll see you next time.